Listen closely because what I'm about to tell you could completely change how you think about food and aging. Most seniors over 60 have been told that eggs are the gold standard for protein. Doctors, dietitians, even TV commercials drilled it into our heads. Eat your eggs if you want muscles. Eat your eggs if you want strength. But here's the shocking truth: eggs are not the best way to keep your muscles strong as you get older. In fact, relying on them might even hold you back. Imagine this: you're in your 70s. 80 seconds, even 90 seconds, and you still have the energy to walk briskly, carry your groceries, play with your grandchildren, and stay independent. That's not a dream, it's absolutely possible if you know which foods actually fuel your muscles the fastest. And the surprising part? Some of them are dirt cheap, often overlooked, and hiding right in your pantry. Today, we'll break down 6 powerful foods that can help seniors build muscle faster than eggs, foods backed by solid science. Used by doctors who study longevity and proven to keep older adults stronger for longer. These are not exotic powders or pricey supplements. They're everyday ingredients that can protect you from muscle loss, prevent dangerous falls, and even extend your quality of life. And when you hear what makes the number one food on this list so powerful, you'll never look at your dinner plate the same way again. Number 6, lentils. When most people think of protein, they imagine a sizzling steak or a fried egg on the plate. But here's what almost no one tells you. Lentils, those tiny, humble legumes that cost just a few cents per serving, can deliver more usable muscle building power than many animal products, especially for seniors over 60. Why? It comes down to something scientists call protein quality. Eggs are good, yes, but lentils provide a steady stream of essential amino acids plus a massive punch of dietary fiber, which eggs completely lack. And for seniors, that fiber is not just about digestion, it's about keeping blood sugar stable, controlling inflammation, and reducing the silent processes that actually accelerate muscle breakdown. Studies from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition have shown that older adults who incorporate legumes like lentils into their weekly diet retain more lean muscle mass and report better mobility scores than those who don't. Imagine that: a bag of dried lentils, which might cost you less than $1, protecting your independence more effectively than expensive protein shakes. And there's another hidden advantage. Eggs, as healthy as they seem, come packaged with cholesterol and often added oils when cooked, which for seniors with heart risks can be a problem. Lentils, on the other hand, are virtually fat-free and loaded with potassium, magnesium, and polyphenols that actively fight the microdamage in your cells caused by aging. When you eat lentils regularly, you're not just feeding your muscles, you're lowering blood pressure, protecting your arteries, and giving your body the tools to recover after activity. Even something as simple as climbing the stairs. In villages across the Mediterranean and South Asia, where people routinely live into their 90s with remarkable strength, lentils and other legumes are a dietary cornerstone. They eat them in soups, salads, stews, sometimes even sprouted. The preparation is simple, the cost is almost nothing, but the return is incredible. Think about this. 1 cup of cooked lentils contains around 18 grams of protein. That's nearly the same as 3 large eggs, but without the downsides. On top of that, the iron in lentils helps carry oxygen to your muscles, preventing the fatigue and weakness so many seniors blame on just getting old. It's not age, it's poor fuel. Swap out just a few egg-based meals for lentil-based ones each week. And within months, you can literally feel the difference in your energy, your balance, and your strength. Number 5, Greek yogurt. If lentils are the quiet hero hiding in your pantry, Greek yogurt is the muscle-preserving powerhouse sitting in your fridge, waiting to be taken seriously. And here's the thing: most seniors think of yogurt as just a snack, maybe something light with fruit on top. But the truth is, when you choose the right kind, Greek yogurt becomes a muscle-building weapon far more effective than eggs. Why? Because it's not only rich in protein, sometimes double what regular yogurt contains, but it's also naturally packed with leucine, the amino acid that acts like a switch for muscle growth. And unlike eggs, which deliver their protein in one single burst, Greek yogurt provides a slower, steadier release, which is exactly what aging muscles need to repair and grow throughout the day. Now here's something even more incredible. Greek yogurt delivers not just protein, but probiotics, the living bacteria that keep your gut healthy. Why does that matter for your muscles? Because scientists have discovered a gut-muscle connection. When your gut is inflamed or imbalanced, your body has a harder time absorbing the very nutrients that fuel your muscles. Seniors who eat probiotic-rich foods like Greek yogurt often show better muscle retention and lower levels of frailty. In fact, a study published in Frontiers in Nutrition found that elderly participants who consumed fermented dairy products like Greek yogurt had stronger hand grip strength and higher mobility scores compared to those who didn't. That's not coincidence, it's biology. Think of it this way. Eggs give you protein, sure. But Greek yogurt gives you protein plus probiotics plus calcium plus vitamin B12. And all of those together support not just your muscles, but your bones, your nervous system, and your metabolism. That means when you lift a bag of groceries or climb a flight of stairs, your muscles and bones are working in harmony instead of straining against each other. And here's where it gets even more practical. Seniors often struggle to chew tougher meats or prepare complicated protein sources. Greek yogurt is soft, versatile, and can be eaten at any time of day breakfast, snack, even dinner with some savory toppings. It requires no cooking, no frying, no added fats. Picture this, a 6-ounce cup of Greek yogurt delivers about 15 to 20 grams of protein. That's equivalent to almost 3 eggs, but with added nutrients that actively protect your gut and bones. And because of the probiotics, Greek yogurt can even improve digestion for seniors who often complain of bloating, constipation, or discomfort after eating. With a spoonful of Greek yogurt, you're not just eating, you're repairing your muscles, soothing your gut, and supporting your longevity. All in one bite. Number 4, Salmonif Greek yogurt is the steady protector of your muscles. Then salmon is the firepower your body craves to actually rebuild strength at a deeper level. Most seniors know salmon as heart healthy, but very few realize how critical it is for maintaining muscle tissue well into your 70s, 80 seconds, and 90 seconds. Salmon is one of the richest natural sources of high-quality protein and omega-3 fatty acids, and this combination does something eggs can't touch. As we age, a condition called anabolic resistance kicks in. This means your muscles don't respond to protein the way they used to. You could eat the same protein you did at 30, but at 70, your muscles don't hear the signal as loudly. Omega-3s are like a megaphone, they amplify that signal, telling your body, build, repair, grow. That's why clinical studies published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition show that older adults who consume omega-3 rich fish like salmon actually regain muscle responsiveness, allowing them to rebuild strength even after years of decline. And here's the kicker. Salmon doesn't just fuel your muscles, it protects them from the silent enemy of aging, chronic inflammation. Every senior over 60 is fighting this battle, whether they feel it or not. Inflammation is what makes joints ache, what slows recovery after even mild activity, and what accelerates muscle loss. Omega-3s in salmon directly reduce this inflammation, while the protein repairs the muscle fibers. That's why elders in coastal regions of Japan and Norway who eat fatty fish several times a week remain mobile and strong decades longer than their peers in countries where fish is absent from the diet. They don't just live longer, they live stronger. Now let's talk numbers. A single 4-ounce serving of salmon delivers over 23 grams of protein. That's more than 3 large eggs plus more than 2 grams of omega-3s eggs. Zero omega-3s unless they're artificially fortified. That's the difference between food that just fills you up and food that actively rewires your body to resist aging. And salmon isn't only about protein and omega-3. It's also rich in vitamin D, which most seniors are deficient in, and that deficiency is directly linked to muscle weakness and falls. By combining protein, omega-3s, and vitamin D in one package, salmon becomes almost like a prescription-strength food, but one that tastes incredible and has been sustaining humanity for thousands of years. Practical reality? Salmon can be grilled, baked, or poached, and unlike red meat, it doesn't burden your body with excess saturated fat or cholesterol. For seniors worried about heart disease, diabetes, or weight, salmon is a safe powerhouse. And perhaps most importantly, it's delicious, making it easier to eat regularly without feeling like you're on some restrictive health diet. When seniors swap 2 or 3 egg-based breakfasts for salmon-based meals during the week, they report clearer thinking, less fatigue, and most importantly, measurable strength gains. Imagine being 85, lifting your carry-on bag into the overhead bin without struggling because you made one simple change in your diet. That's not hype. That's what salmon does. Number 2, quinoa is not just another health food trend for seniors, it's a complete protein source that quietly outperforms eggs in almost every way. Most people don't realize that quinoa is one of the only plant foods on Earth that contains all 9 essential amino acids in perfect balance, the same way animal protein does. But here's where it gets shocking: unlike eggs, which give you protein with cholesterol and saturated fat, quinoa delivers its protein alongside anti-inflammatory compounds, magnesium, potassium, and powerful antioxidants. For seniors past 60, this matters more than ever because every bite of food needs to do double duty: protect your organs, fuel your muscles, and support your independence. A single cooked cup of quinoa contains about 8 grams of protein, plus nearly 5 grams of fiber, meaning it feeds your muscles and your gut at the same time. Something eggs will never do. Now let's talk about the energy equation. One of the main reasons seniors lose muscle isn't because they don't eat enough protein, it's because they can't sustain the energy needed for activity, and muscles atrophy when unused. Eggs give you protein but very little usable energy. Quinoa, on the other hand, delivers complex carbohydrates that release slowly, providing steady fuel for hours. This is why, in studies of older adults who consume quinoa regularly, researchers have found not only better muscle retention, but also higher activity levels because they have the energy to move, garden, walk, and exercise. It's a cycle. Energy leads to activity, activity builds muscle, and muscle protects independence. Quinoa keeps that cycle alive well into your 80s and 90s. And here's something most seniors have never been told: quinoa is gluten-free, which makes it easy on the digestive system for those with sensitivities. And it's also rich in lysine, an amino acid critical for tissue repair. Lysine deficiency is common in older adults who rely heavily on grains like rice or wheat. Without it, your body struggles to repair muscle fibers after even mild stress. Eggs don't solve this problem, quinoa does. On top of that, quinoa is one of the best sources of magnesium, which relaxes blood vessels, lowers blood pressure, and improves recovery. It's also loaded with flavonoids like quercetin, which directly combat inflammation in your muscles and joints. In plain terms, quinoa doesn't just help you build muscle, it helps you use it without pain. Think about this real-world example. In a clinical trial published in the Journal of Food Science and Nutrition, seniors who ate quinoa 3 times per week had measurable improvements in walking speed, grip strength, and balance compared to those who did not. Even more striking, they reported fewer nighttime cramps and better sleep, because magnesium and potassium from quinoa relax the muscles and nervous system. Eggs, by comparison, have no magnesium and no fiber. You might eat them and feel satisfied for a moment, but they don't deliver long-term repair or stability. Quinoa provides both. Practicality matters too. Eggs are often fried in oil or butter, adding hidden fats that increase cholesterol levels in seniors. Quinoa requires no frying, no added fat, just boil it like rice and it's ready. It can be eaten savory with vegetables or sweet with fruit and nuts, making it versatile and enjoyable without straining digestion. And here's something doctors often emphasize: seniors need nutrient density, not empty calories. Every forkful should count. Quinoa is one of the densest foods on Earth in terms of nutrients per calorie. That means smaller portions still deliver a huge benefit. Perfect for those with lower appetites in older age. Now picture yourself at 75 or 80. Not slowing down, but keeping up with your friends on a long walk or playing on the floor with your grandchildren. That's not luck, that's preparation. Quinoa has been eaten by people in the Andes for over 5,000 years, fueling them through rugged mountain terrain and heavy physical work at altitudes where oxygen is scarce. If it can sustain them, it can certainly sustain you. Eggs may have their place, but if you want a food that fuels both endurance and repair, quinoa wins every time. Number one: beans, black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans. Beans are not glamorous. They don't show up on magazine covers, and they don't get praised at the breakfast table the way eggs do. But make no mistake, for seniors over 60, beans are the single most powerful, affordable, and overlooked food for building muscle faster than eggs, even into your 80s and 90 seconds. Why? Because beans bring together everything your aging body needs in one unbeatable package: protein, fiber, slow-release energy, minerals, and compounds that actively fight the very processes that tear muscle tissue down. Eggs give you protein, yes, but beans give you protein plus the tools to keep that protein working for you long after the meal is over. And that difference can mean the gap between staying independent and being forced to rely on others. First, let's look at the numbers. 1 cup of cooked black beans contains around 15 grams of protein, nearly the same as 2 to 3 eggs. but it also has over 15 grams of fiber, something eggs completely lack. That fiber is not just about digestion. It directly influences muscle preservation. Fiber feeds your gut bacteria, which then produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate that lower inflammation and improve nutrient absorption. What does that mean for you? It means that the protein you eat actually gets used to repair muscle instead of being wasted. Without fiber, your body struggles to fully utilize nutrients. That's why seniors who rely too heavily on eggs and animal products often find themselves weaker. Even if they think they're eating enough protein, the science is clear. Beans fix that. Now let's talk about longevity. In all 5 of the world's blue zones regions where people live the longest, healthiest lives, beans are a dietary staple. In Okinawa, Japan, older adults eat soybeans and adzuki beans daily. In Nicoya, Costa Rica, black beans are eaten with almost every meal. In Sardinia, Italy, chickpeas and fava beans dominate the plate. And in Loma Linda, California, where one of the highest concentrations of centenarians in America live, kidney beans and lentils are at the center of their diets. In each of these places, seniors don't just survive into their 90s, they thrive. They walk, they climb, they dance, they garden. Beans are their common denominator. Eggs are not, and here's something critical for seniors who worry about their hearts. Eggs are often linked to higher cholesterol intake, which can be dangerous if you already face cardiovascular risks. Beans, on the other hand, lower cholesterol, regulate blood pressure, and improve blood sugar stability. Why does this matter for muscle? Because when your heart is strong and your blood sugar is stable, your muscles receive a steady flow of nutrients and oxygen. Weak circulation is one of the silent killers of muscle mass, and beans directly counteract it. Clinical studies from Harvard and the World Health Organization consistently show that people who eat beans 4 times per week reduce their risk of cardiovascular disease by up to 22% while simultaneously protecting their lean body mass. That's a life-saving double effect that eggs simply can't match. Another overlooked benefit of beans is their mineral content. They're packed with magnesium, which relaxes sore muscles, and potassium, which helps your muscles contract properly. They're also rich in iron, delivering oxygen to muscle cells, preventing that tired, heavy leg feeling so many seniors chalk up to aging. And unlike red meat, another iron source, beans don't burden you with saturated fat. For women over 60, beans are especially powerful. They help maintain bone density through their phosphorus and calcium content, ensuring that muscle and bone strength rise together. Because let's be honest, strong muscles mean little if bones are fragile. Beans support both, but let's not ignore something practical: cost. Eggs may seem cheap, but when you calculate protein per dollar, beans win hands down. A single bag of dried beans costing just a few dollars can provide dozens of meals, each one loaded with muscle-building nutrition. For seniors on fixed incomes, this is not just about health, it's about survival. Beans provide world-class nutrition at a price anyone can afford. And preparation is simpler than many think. You can soak and cook them in batches, freeze portions, or even buy them canned for convenience. Unlike meat or fish, they don't spoil quickly, making them reliable staples for the pantry. And here's a point that often surprises people: beans are anabolic. That means they don't just maintain muscle, they stimulate its growth. Researchers from the University of Illinois studied older adults who replaced some animal protein with bean-based protein, and within 12 weeks, participants had higher lean muscle mass, better insulin sensitivity, and greater mobility. Think about that. Without expensive supplements or complicated diets, just by eating beans, seniors literally grew stronger. Eggs, on the other hand, cannot deliver that same broad-spectrum effect because they lack fiber, phytonutrients, and the unique mix of amino acids beans provide. Now, let's imagine the daily life of a senior who makes beans a cornerstone of their diet. Breakfast might include a small bowl of beans with vegetables, delivering steady fuel until midday. Lunch could be a bean soup, giving protein and warmth without heaviness. Dinner may be beans mixed with rice or quinoa, forming a complete protein source that fuels overnight repair. Over weeks and months, that senior notices something remarkable: fewer aches, steadier energy, stronger legs, easier balance. Over years, that translates to freedom: the freedom to walk unassisted, to climb stairs, to play with grandchildren, to live without fear of sudden weakness. That freedom is priceless. The truth is, beans are not flashy. They're not hyped by commercials or sold in protein powder tubs. but they have been fueling humanity for centuries, and in every culture where people live the longest, beans are the foundation of life. For seniors who want not just years but strong, independent years, beans are the number one food. Eggs may have their place, but if you truly want to outpace muscle loss and stay vital into your 90s, the answer is simple: beans, beans, beans.so. Here's the big picture. For decades, eggs have been sold as the ultimate protein, the unbeatable food for building strength at any age. But the truth, as you've seen today, is that there are far more powerful and safer options for seniors over 60, starting with lentils. Moving up through Greek yogurt, salmon, chickpeas, and quinoa. And finally, reaching beans at the very top. We've uncovered 6 foods that not only build muscle but also protect your gut, your heart, your bones, and your independence. These are foods that have kept people strong in the world's longest living cultures. And they're sitting right there in your pantry and grocery store, affordable, accessible, and proven by science. And here's what matters most: you don't need exotic powders or expensive supplements. You don't need to force down steak every night or rely on cholesterol-heavy eggs every morning. What you need are simple, everyday foods that fuel your body the right way. When you build your meals around beans, lentils, quinoa, salmon, yogurt, and chickpeas, you're not just eating, you're investing in years of strength, balance, and independence. You're giving yourself the chance to not just reach old age, but to actually live in it with vitality. Now imagine yourself 10, 20, even 30 years from today. Do you want to be sitting on the sidelines, dependent on others, or do you want to be walking, moving, laughing, and enjoying life on your own terms? The choice is in your hands, and it starts with what you put on your plate. What about you? Which of these 6 foods do you already eat, and which one are you most excited to add into your routine? And where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story.